Hey, how's it going? It's Craig. I'm out in the garage and today we're going to do an audio mod for my Williams Pinball High Speed 2. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is a kit install. I bought it online from a company called TiltAudio. There's a couple of different audio mods you can do for pinball machines. This one works on, I believe, Data East as well as Williams Pinball. The High Speed 2 that I've got is a Williams, so this should work fine on there. And basically, you take out the audio board that's in your system. The audio board holds all your data around what music to play whenever, in the background, or when you hit something, what sound effect it should play, and we're replacing that with a kit build that we're going to put together. This one is called TiltAudio. It's a bit cheaper than some alternatives. There's another one called Pin Sound, which I think is meant to be a little bit more out of the box reliable. You take it out, put your files on, and then away you go. It's all built ready for you, and it's all in one. Whereas this one, you've got to build it yourself, then you've got to put a Raspberry Pi on there, format the SD card, and then do a couple of settings, and then hopefully it'll be up and running by the end of this video. Bit of a big risk. This is an expensive machine that I don't really want to blow up or do anything damage to it. I'm still learning a lot about pinball machines, so I don't know where all the parts are and everything else, so I'm going to be learning as I go along on this video. So please watch this all the way through to the end before following it as any kind of tutorial or anything else. I'm still just learning myself. But what I'm going to do is build the board. I've got all the parts ready. I'm going to build that, solder it all together, and then we'll start looking at doing the Raspberry Pi and get it all into the system. There's a couple of wires I think we have to change on the speakers as well. Once we've done all that, hopefully we can get it up and running and then show you what the different audio does on the system once it's up and running. Cool, catch you in a sec. Okay, so I've got my board fully made up now, and yeah, it was fairly straightforward to put together. It wasn't the most difficult thing. There was a lot of soldering points on there, but followed the picture. There's not much other instructions around for it. The next thing for me to do now is really to pop open the back box on the pinball machine and fit this in. I think there's a couple of wires we've got to swap around for the speakers. Other than that, it should be pretty much plug and play. And I don't know, there's no way of testing this without putting it into the machine, so I've never done anything this big on the pinball machine before. I've done the other mods like the colour DMD and things like that, but they're pretty much plug and play. This one you've had to build yourself, so there's a little bit more room for error on there. Fingers crossed it's not going to blow up. There is a fuse on here, so hopefully if anything happens the fuse will go before anything else, but yeah, we'll see. There's lots of things that could potentially be sticking points on this. Obviously there's an SD card on here that you've had to build with the Raspberry Pi and everything else on there. Fingers crossed I've done all that spot on and it'll work first time, but if not, I'm going to have a little bit of a play around with it, see where we get to and go from there. Cool, I'll catch you in a sec once I've installed it. Okay, so this is the back box of the pinball machine. The main board that we're going to be concentrating on here is this central one. So we've got a ribbon cable up here, that's going to disconnect and put into the new board. There's obviously another ribbon cable going to the next board across. Somebody's kindly labelled this, so 502, I don't think we use that one. 501 we use, I think that's our power. Then 504 and 505 I think are our connectors that we're worried about, and we're going to move some cables around on. The rest of it can just lift out then, this board just lifts out of the way. What I'm going to do is disconnect these ribbon cables, disconnect all the connectors, and then lift it out so it's out of the way, and then we can go from there. Cool. Okay, so the board's in. Yeah, you can see it. The board is in and connected up the top ones. I connected that ribbon cable up across. I've connected this one back into this board here. That one I think doesn't connect into the system at all. The power is connected in, which is fine. I've got these two now to wire in, which is the sub connector and then the main speakers left and right connectors. So what I'm going to need to do is I've got this cable here, which is my 504. I need to rewire that so it does the sub audio, and then I can connect that one back in. But I need to rewire it because I think it doesn't come out of pin 2 and 3, it comes out of 1 and 4 I think. So I'll have to have a look at that in a second. There's a wiring diagram on the website. And then my other connector, which is 505, it needs a total rework. So basically there's two cables going into the back of this, which represent obviously mono audio, so we've got a positive and a negative for that speaker. What we need is 4 cables going into this eventually, and to do that I've dropped my colour DMD down. I've got my right hand speaker here. As you can see, it's got 2 cables coming off it, a positive and negative. That runs behind my DMD all the way across, and at the moment they just connect straight back into the other speaker just to feed off that audio. For now I'm going to snip these off. Hopefully when I feed the cable back through, there's enough to get up to that board. If not, I'm going to have to change those cables out. Eventually I want to swap these speakers out anyway. I don't think well, how old is this machine? This machine must be 30 plus years old, so it needs probably a bit of a refurbishment, and some of the speakers changing and things after all this time, they wear out after a while. So yeah, we'll swap them out in the future, but for now we'll try and get it up and running with the stock speakers in there and see where we go. So I won't try and film everything, but this connector will be quite different once we're finished, so I'll give you a quick summary before we plug it all in. Cool. Okay, so just connected these up. So I've connected all 4 cables into this now. So if I go from this terminal here with the black wire on this one, it should go into the first negative, go. And then if I go from this one here, it should go to the positive there, and then from this one to here to the negative there, and then this one here to the positive there. So that connector's all done. So I've got all 5 wires going into that one now. I can connect that one into here, and that's done, out of the way. The way I'm doing it, I haven't got the right punch tool, so hopefully you can see up in the cabinet and things, but what I'm doing is I'm just stripping a little bit of the plastic off and then using a flathead screwdriver just to push the cables in, the wires in. Not ideal. There is a punch tool that you can get for these. I need to buy some of these connectors and the right tools for them going forward, just so I've got a bunch of them for future use. So yeah, let me get on with that last bit and then we're all done. Cool. Okay, we're all powered, well, no, we're all powered up, we're all connected up. This is the moment of truth. I'm so nervous. This is the biggest thing I've done on this pinball machine. Don't want it to go wrong. It could be an expensive mistake if I get this wrong and something's wired wrong, or I've done something wrong with the audio, but there's only one way to find out, and that's to switch it on. It's all plugged in, and here we go. Right, keep watching. Okay, I've got an LED on here. Pinball machine's working. That's a positive. We've got an LED on here. Got LEDs up here and on the Raspberry Pi. There's 2 volume wheels on the actual board, which I've turned down quite a bit at the moment. But there we go. TiltAudio is coming up on there. 1.3, version 1.3. Speaking. It's really quiet. It's amazing. It's reading out things. You're not going to hear it properly on here, but you can see it's reading out what's on the screen, the serial number and things. I might have to blur that out. I don't know whether that's exclusive to me or not. So sound set 1 is on there, which I think is a improved version of the ZZ Top Lagrange sound. Okay, so I want to turn it up a bit, but I'm going to have to start the game to listen to it. So let's start up a game. I can't hear anything. No sound at all. Now, sound was playing just a minute ago. I'm disorientated with this board as well because I can't see where the volume pots are. Okay, I'm not getting any sound out of the game at all. So I know the system's running because I had that voice come out of it just then when it was doing the tests. So obviously the system's wired up all right. Maybe it's just an SD card issue now. Okay, let's have a look. Really awkward to get to these adjustments because there's 2 wheels that you adjust and I can't remember where they are. I think they're up underneath one of this ribbon cable somewhere. There they are, underneath here. Still nothing, is there? Okay, what I'm going to do now that I've got this connected up, it sounded working. Let's switch it off. I just turned it up a little bit. Switch it off. Hopefully we'll get some audio out of it again, so it'll tell me what version it is and everything else. That's just the machine resetting the ball and things. Okay, so what are we getting up here? How annoying, because it definitely was saying what audio version and everything else and what sound set was on there. Serial number it read out. Doesn't seem to be doing anything right now. Okay, so I'm back out here. I've just swapped the Raspberry Pi over. I was using a 2B, which I think this needs to be a 3A or newer. So I've got a couple of these 2Bs knocking around, which I use for my LED signs and things. So they work fine for that, but obviously this one probably needs a little bit more power than that. So I just put in a new Raspberry Pi, swap the SD card over to that one. I'm going to give this a go. Let's have a look. Okay, so we're going to power on. Okay, so we've got power again. Power on there. See the Raspberry Pi is lit up underneath there. No audio yet. LED's not, oh, LED's not lit up either yet. Still loading though. There we go. Okay, back to the drawing board. Let's see if I can find out what's going on. Okay, so I've just rewritten the SD card for the Raspberry Pi because I had it in the old one. I didn't know whether it wrote any like config files to the SD card, so I wanted a clean start. I've just put one data set on here now, and I've put it back in, connected it all back up. So fingers crossed, if we turn this on now, we'll get some kind of input coming out of it. Boot it up, see if it works. If it doesn't work, I'll take that SD card back out, put it back in the computer and see what we can do again. Let's give it another go. Okay, so this is booting again, and I can see flashing lights up here for Raspberry Pi. Nothing on the screen yet, the LED screen. Let's take you out. Yes, we got sound.
1.37 TiltAudio is running with trial license serial number 331.
Amazing.
3036742. Sound set 1. Mode will be automatically detected.
Amazing. So, okay, so I've got sound coming out of it now. I've not pressed the start button on this game yet. I've only put one sound set on this, so I'm going to test it with this one sound set. If that works, then I can take the SD card out, put more sound sets on there. It's also saying that there's an IP address on there as well now, so it's working with the Wi-Fi as well, which is great. So yeah, I should be able to get into the Wi-Fi interface as well, which I'll do in a little bit. I'm just going to test this game out because I want to see if it works with this sound set. So let's press the start button. Hey, we got sound. Let me see if I can balance this on here. We'll have a quick game, see what it's like. Okay, so as you can hear, it's working and it's pretty loud at the moment. I need to adjust it down, but that sound set's working nice. So nice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to power it off. So I powered that off. I'm going to take the SD card out of it now. Sorry, this camera's been all over the place today. Take the SD card out of it. I'm going to put some more sound sets on this. I'm really confident now that all the soldering and things that I've done on here is working fine. It just needed a slightly different Raspberry Pi, so the 2, it does say the 2 can work on it, but the 3A is working nice. Reconfigured that SD card. Now let's put some extra sound sets on there, get them all working, and then we can go from there. Cool, catch you in a sec. Okay, so I've got it all up and running now, and I can load different sound sets. So I've got a few different sound sets set up already, so I can switch between these. They take a couple of minutes to switch, but once your sound set's loaded, you're probably not going to change it that often anyway. The one thing that was keeping me from getting it working was on the audio device. On the desktop version I didn't get anything, but on the mobile version I was getting a drop down. I'll put a screenshot up of that as well, because if you're getting startup sounds but nothing else, then it was probably that audio device that's causing it. I've even put the license on this now, so it's all licensed to my Raspberry Pi. So everything's up and running. I'm just going to let this sound set load. It's still ticking away, so I'm loading up a different sound set. I've got 6 different sets on here at the moment. But once that's done now, my SD card is all backed up. I've got a copy of that for my just to keep on my Dropbox in case anything happens to this one. In the future, I'm going to move that OLED and probably build something down here. Build a little, get a little 3D printed model there. Extend the wires off of there instead of having it straight onto the board, and have it down out of the way so I can see it when all the top box is shut up and everything, on all the panels and everything are closed. So yeah, next thing for me to do is probably swap out these speakers, because the sound is great, but it's not exactly what I want. I want a nicer quality stereo sound now if I got stereo output coming from this board. So yeah, I'll be ordering some speakers for this next, and then I'm pretty much done with it. I've got a couple of more mods that I wouldn't mind doing to lighting and things, but I don't want to go over the top with it. It's already pretty extreme with the color DMD and obviously the TiltAudio in there now. So depends on what you're into with a pinball machine. Some people obviously want to keep it original. I've kept all my original parts so I can do that, but I like it that I've got a color DMD and I can set my own sound set. I'll probably have one sound set that I'll build myself, and then once I've set that, I'll probably keep it as it is. I won't go crazy and keep swapping them all the time, but nice to be able to do that if I want to. So cool, everything's looking pretty good so far. Let's go back and do a quick wrap up. Okay, so there we have it, all installed, all ready, all running. I can change the sound sets on it now, and yeah, put any kind of music on there I want. So I've got 6 preset or 6 downloadable sound sets on there that I can use at the moment. There's another one there with U2 on there, but I'm not putting U2 on my pinball machine because nobody needs that. I'm gonna have a look at building my own. I want to try and get some sound effects from maybe some films, like some chase films or something else. If you've got any suggestions on really good films where there's police chases in there, there's police audio and things like that, then please let me know, because I wouldn't mind knowing some ideas of films that I can go online, find some samples and build up my own sound set for this system. I want to keep the music to ZZ Top possibly. I might look at some other drive-in adrenaline type tracks as well, but because the machine is set up for ZZ Top Lagrange, then I think it's worth keeping that audio in as part of it, of the package anyway. But I'll change some of the sound effects and I'll change some of the voiceovers and things like that. So yeah, I'm trying to sample some of those, and the engine sounds. I think the engine sounds are lacking on these sample packs, so maybe I'll go on to something like Gone in 60 Seconds or Fast and Furious films, where you're getting a lot of engine noises and gear changes and things that I can take some samples off. But we'll have a look at doing that at another point. The main thing is that it's up and running, and I can switch that pinball machine on now and it boots flawlessly. It takes a little while for that audio board to boot up, but it's booting and it's working, and all the sounds are working great, which is amazing. It took a lot of configuring, to be totally honest. It took me probably overnight figuring things out. I ended up finding a German forum. Somebody sent me a link to a German forum where they mentioned the settings, because what I was getting is audio was coming through for the startup sounds, but then nothing for gameplay, and then I'd reboot it and I wouldn't even get the startup sounds again. So there was a configuration wrong in there, and it was to do with the audio configuration. I'll put something up on the side of this video now so you can see what I changed that. But I literally just changed it on my mobile. It wasn't showing up on the desktop. Changed it on the mobile, set the new configuration, saved it, all good. So I made a backup of that SD card now, so I've got a master copy of it, so I've got a file, image file, so I can burn that off again if I need to in the future. But yeah, all up and running, and I absolutely love it. It's nice to have the ability to change the audio on this system. Next thing I want to do, I'm not getting great sound out of those speakers, so I'm going to change those to some upgraded stereo speakers, because the cabinet originally is mono, so you're only getting one side of output on it, but with this now supports stereo, so I'm going to get some nice stereo speakers to go in there, and nice quality speakers to go in there, and wire them up as stereo. And I want to move the little on-screen display that you would have seen in there down outside of the cabinet, so maybe 3D print a little part that can go underneath and maybe show it so I can see when it's loading, when the IP address is ready for connecting on the web app and things like that. It's a really cool little system. As I said, you've got a web app, so you use your phone, you literally log into a Wi-Fi that it spits out, Wi-Fi signal, go onto an IP address, and you straight into a signal, into a settings thing. You can change it from German to English as your language, go through, change all the settings, change the volumes and things like that. And it looks pretty good. So once it's up and running, it's absolutely amazing. But getting it up and running is a bit of a pig. But I say a bit of a pig. It took me one night to sort it out. So that's not too bad when it comes to building something like this from scratch. So yeah, I'm really chuffed at this in my system. Let me know of any sound effects or music you think would look really good or sound really good on this system. It's a high-speed police chase type game, so anything you can think of on that would be really cool. Hope you've enjoyed this. A little bit of a different pinball video for me again. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There's some LED lights and things I would like to do in there at some point, but I'm gonna have to have a look into how we can do that and connect it to certain sounds and things so they're not on all the time. I want them to flash at certain points and then not flash at other times. So yeah, leave it with me. I'll be back with a pinball update in a bit. I might even do a live stream of pinball games if anyone's interested in that. I might put the camera facing down and maybe do a bit of a multicam view and have a blast and do an hour or so out here playing on it one night. So if you're interested in that as well, let me know in the comments and I'll catch you soon. Cool.
Version
1.37